Good evening. It's Friday, the 27th of January, and it's time for the news on RIK2. Mediterranean EU member states are coordinating their EU strategy as part of a newly formed bloc during their second summit conference in Lisbon that takes place tomorrow. The Med Group, which made clear during their last inaugural summit in Athens in September last year that they do not form a threat within the Union or any other state, will discuss common challenges. President Anastasiades arrived in the Portuguese capital earlier today and will take part in a working lunch of the Mediterranean leaders tomorrow, before returning to Cyprus on Sunday. He will be joined by the leaders of France, Greece, Spain, Italy, Malta and host Portugal. The purpose of the summit conference is the coordination of the group's positions on major issues of European policy ahead of the EU informal summit to take place in Malta, holding the EU rotating presidency next Friday, February the 3rd. Turkey has demanded the retrial of 8 soldiers who fled to Greece after a failed coup last year and said it may take measures including scrapping a migration deal with Athens after a Greek court rejected an extradition request. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan had tough words, saying that the 8 scum better return home, strongly criticising Greece for its decision. Greece's Supreme Court yesterday ruled against extraditing the soldiers who had sought political asylum, saying they feared for their lives in Turkey. Ankara says they were involved in the July 15th coup attempt and branded them traitors. This is a political decision. Greece is protecting and hosting coup plotters, Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu told state broadcaster TRT Hab this morning. Cavusoglu said his country was evaluating its next steps, including the scrapping of the readmission deal. Subsequently, a European Union spokeswoman said it was confident its cooperation with Turkey on migration will continue to hold firm. Deposits in Cypriot commercial banks and Cyprus-based commercial institutions increased in 2016 for the first time in 4 years. Central bank figures showed that the outstanding amount of deposits reached €49 billion in December 2016. Deposits in Cyprus banks stood at €70.1 billion in 2012 and dropped to €46.9 in 2013. The central bank said the total deposits in December 2016 recorded a net decrease of €74.9 million compared with a net increase of €358 million in November 2016. The annual growth rate stood at 6.2% compared with 6.8% in November last year. The total sales of petroleum products rose by more than 9% last year in comparison to 2015. Sales of motor gasoline were up by 2.4% and low sulfur fuel by 8.5%. Also on the rise were light and heavy fuel oil by 19.3% and 14.5% respectively, as well as gasoline for marine use by 28.3% and aviation kerosene by 9.3%. The stocks of petroleum products at the end of 2016 increased by 16.7%. Snow fell in some of the lower hilly communities of Paphos, including Gili and Tsada this afternoon during a cold snap gripping Cyprus. The Meteorological Office confirmed the unusual snowfalls in various areas of the island. In other regions, there were periods with hail and sleet. There were no indications it was likely to snow today in any of the island's other lowland areas. The snowfall was expected to be short-lived as the weather dried up ahead of a drop in temperatures this evening. This is expected to be the winter's coldest evening, while this week's rain showers are not expected to be repeated over the weekend. Now for the weather forecast. Clear skies tomorrow. Winds will be moderate to fresh westerly to southwesterly, later becoming northerly, force 4 to 5. The sea will be moderate to rough. Temperatures will reach 9 Celsius inland, 10 in southern and eastern coastal areas, 11 north and west, and -3 over the mountains where frost is expected. The depth of snow is 80 centimetres on Mount Olympus and 70 on the Troodos Square. That's all from us here. Join us tomorrow for more news in English. Have a very good evening.